In the hushed grandeur of a packed U.S. congressional hearing chamber, with its high ceilings, polished with panels, and an undercurrent of palpable anticipation, two figures dominated the stage. Under relentless spotlights and before an audience of journalists, politicians, legal experts, and millions watching live, Representative Alexandria Okasio Cortez sat poised. Her eyes, a mixture of defiance and calculated indifference, betrayed the inner conflict of a woman used to commanding viral moments on social media, now facing a confrontation that promised to reshape her political destiny. Every detail of the room, the echo of footsteps on marble, the soft rustle of papers, and the distant hum of camera shutters, seemed to underscore that this was no ordinary day in Washington. Across the chamber, exuding an icy composure, stood Pam Bondi, clad in a sharply tailored suit and armed with a thick, meticulously color-coded dossier. Bondi's presence was as formidable as it was precise. This was not merely a hearing. It was a public reckoning, a collision of past misdeeds and the unyielding demand for truth. As the cameras rolled and the chamber's ambient murmur subsided into a charged silence, Bondi's voice cut through the stillness like a finely honed blade. Representative Ocasio Cortez, you are here today to answer for serious allegations. Hiring an illegal immigrant for your congressional office, obstructing investigations, and misusing campaign funds. Today, we begin to unravel the truth. A ripple of murmurs swept through the audience. Journalists scribbled furiously, while a few sympathetic senators exchanged uneasy glances. For AOC, this was yet another stage for her well-rehearsed defiance, a stage she believed was crafted by opponents desperate to tarnish her record. Yet as the weight of Bondi's opening statement sank in, the atmosphere shifted. Every eye in the room seemed to lean forward, hungry for the unfolding drama. Bondi paused, allowing the gravity of her prepared evidence to resonate. With deliberate calm, she opened the first page of her dossier, her fingers tracing intricate notes that spoke of deliberate record manipulation. Behind her, the digital screen sprang to life with a cascade of documents, emails, financial records, and internal memos that painted a damning picture of deliberate deception. Let's set the stage, Bondi intoned, her voice smooth yet unyielding. Over the past 2 years, your office has processed decisions that suggest more than mere administrative routine. We have evidence indicating deliberate attempts to erase records, files related to an employee who was never legally authorized to work in this country. At that moment, a pre-recorded email flashed in bold letters across the screen. Delete all data related to Diego Dega, Office of Representative Alexandria Okasio Cortez. A collective intake of breath echoed through the chamber. For a split second, AOC's signature smirk faltered, replaced by a flash of uncertainty in her eyes, a crack in her otherwise unwavering facade that did not go unnoticed by the attentive audience. Undeterred, AOC leaned forward, her tone measured yet defiant. Pam, she began with a hint of sarcasm lacing her words. I have built my career fighting for the underdog. My office operates with integrity. What you call evidence of misconduct is nothing more than standard office procedure, a routine deletion in the name of efficiency. Her dismissal was met with a barely perceptible smile from Bondi, whose eyes narrowed as she prepared her next salvo. Efficiency? Bondi echoed slowly, then raised her voice so that every corner of the chamber could hear. Congresswoman, this is not about routine administration. It is about how you chose to manipulate your records to cover up decisions that could have significant legal consequences. We are not debating policy today. We are confronting deliberate actions that undermine the very trust the American people place in their leaders. The room pulsed with tension as senators exchanged guarded glances, some nodding in silent agreement, others visibly bristling at the public challenge. Each word became a deliberate move in a high-stakes political chess match. The confrontation deepened as Bondi shifted her focus to another explosive piece of evidence. The screen then filled with a sworn statement from a former staffer. I was instructed to ensure that all records related to Diego Dega were expunged. The evidence was damning. Diego Dega, an employee whose legal status was in question, had been deliberately erased from official records. AOC's response was swift and laced with the bravado she was known for. Ms. Bondi, let's not kid ourselves. My office handles hundreds of records daily. Staffing changes, deletions, they are part of the bureaucratic process. I do not, nor would I micromanage every clerical action. A hint of a chuckle escaped her as she continued. I have always been about protecting the vulnerable. My Know Your Rights seminars are designed to empower, not incite scandal. Bondi's retort was incisive and uncompromising. Congresswoman, let's be crystal clear. When files are deleted on orders that conveniently shield you from scrutiny, that is not simple office maintenance. It is obstruction of justice. And we call that for what it is. As Bondi's barrage of evidence continued, wire transfers, annotated financial records, and internal communications, the air in the chamber grew oppressively thick. In a near whisper that nonetheless resonated powerfully throughout the room, Bondi asked, "You speak of justice and protection of rights, but tell me, Congresswoman, who exactly are you fighting for when you redirect campaign funds into an organization that blatantly skirts federal immigration law? When your priority shifts from public service to political survival, the American people deserve to know where your loyalties truly lie." In that moment, AOC's defiant facade began to crack. For the first time during the hearing, her confident smirk faded, replaced by a fleeting loss of composure. The chamber fell into a heavy, expectant silence as cameras zoomed in, capturing every nuanced expression, a politician on the brink of an unraveling narrative. The tension mounted further as Bondi leaned forward one final time, her voice resolute. Representative Okasio Cortez, today the evidence is clear. We will be referring all of this to the Department of Justice. You are no longer shielded by your reputation, and you are no longer untouchable. A stunned murmur swept through the audience. Some Republican senators exchanged smirks of satisfaction, while the Democratic bloc erupted in vehement protest. Elizabeth Warren slammed her hand onto the desk, and Ilhan Omar's voice rose in a passionate counterblast. Yet, amid the clamor, Bondi's words remained unyielding, a final pronouncement that echoed like a court verdict. In that historic moment, as the chamber teetered between chaos and order, a bold inscription appeared on the screen. Accountability, truth, justice. The weight of these words pressed down on every soul present, serving as a powerful reminder that no one was above the law. As the session drew to a close, the atmosphere remained charged with uncertainty. AOC sat in reflective silence, her once defiant composure now replaced by the dawning realization that this public reckoning might mark the beginning of an entirely new and far bloodier political war. The press had its story, the nation its questions. In the aftermath, as the chamber slowly emptied and the lights dimmed, the echoes of the confrontation lingered. Journalists reviewed their notes with fervor, and political analysts speculated on the far-reaching implications of the evidence just unveiled. AOC supporters and detractors alike found themselves grappling with stark new reality. The relentless pursuit of accountability had cast an unyielding spotlight on power, leaving no room for impunity. A gentle, reflective voiceover closed the proceedings. Tonight, as power is held to account and truth pierces the veil of political theater, we are reminded that no leader is above the law. The relentless pursuit of accountability has begun a new chapter, a chapter where integrity, transparency, and justice will light the path forward. As stirring instrumental music swelled and the chamber faded into darkness, the American people were left with a lingering call to reflection, a resounding reminder that in the realm of power, every action is subject to the unyielding light of truth. O3 Minnie, hi.